let me show you my favorite plants of August. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Rose, my pronouns are she, her, and in this video, I'm going to show you my favorite plants of August. And as you can tell, we are starting outside in my greenhouse because there is one Hoya here that I have been neglecting for a long time, years. But still, every year it makes flowers and they open and they are the most beautiful flowers I have ever seen on a Hoya. They're bright pink. I didn't even tell you what this Hoya is yet. This is Hoya Mini Bell. I really don't like the look of the leaves. It doesn't grow much for me because it's in the greenhouse where in winter it gets very cold, in summer it gets very hot and I don't water enough. So I've been trying to look after it a little bit better, and this year it worked out well. It has 3 flower clusters opening. I am making a time lapse of this plant, so I cannot bring it towards you and show you, but hopefully the layover images were good enough for you as well, trying to not disturb the plant while the time lapse is going. The second plants I want to show you in here is a little bit of a cheat because I picked my caladiums, plural, because it is August now and they are looking so beautiful. I'm expecting them to start declining probably in September. Maybe we get October because they were planted very late this year. If you want to know more about them, you can check out my recent video about the caladiums, how I grow them, where I got them from. The discount code for Farm and Gracie for next year, if you want, is Roos. And I absolutely love it. This year it's gone really well, as you can see. Super full pots, beautiful plants. And one of my favorite ones is next to the Hoya in the time lapse, so also I'm not moving that, but it is the Spring Fling caladium that I've been wanting to grow for years, and it's now just looking so beautiful. I don't know exactly how it works, but some of the leaves are white with green veins and then some are pink with green veins. And then the darker ones you see is because I gave them too much light and then they become kind of brownish. That's it for the greenhouse, but I actually wanted to sneak in some garden plants before we head in because, as you may know, my boyfriend grows bananas a lot, especially Musa Bashu, which is a cold hardy banana. And for the first time ever, which is really special in our climate, one of them is about to flower and possibly even make bananas. I don't know exactly how that's going to work. Officially, apparently they need 15 to 17 months before they make fruit. And because every winter here they die back and then restart, they would never make bananas. But last year in winter we protected the stem with some garden fleece. And also it was a very mild winter. I think we had frost maybe like 2 times the whole winter. So this stem, this whole stem over here, survived and started to grow from the top again. And I think that's why it is now flowering, because it made it through its second year, which is 15 to 17 months. I will keep you up to date on how the flower develops on my stories, or maybe I'll post a photo on the community tab. But I'm super excited to see this happening. And the second thing I wanted to show you is our passion flower plant, which we started I think 2 years ago as a small plant from the garden center. This year it took over so quickly. The whole wall is covered in stunning flowers. We even had to chop it back a little bit over the banana flower because it was covering it and it needed light. And then I used the cuttings, put them in water, and the flowers are still opening. So what an incredible plant. For this season especially, every time I walk in the garden, it makes me so happy to see all the beautiful flowers. Welcome to the kitchen. There's one plant I want to show you here, and it is my Alocasia clepiolata. I got this from an import a while ago, and it absolutely died back. Nothing survived. Then it slowly started to grow again, but it didn't look great because look at this, crispy and sad leaves. But then it grew, ooh, hold on. There's a bunch of thrips on here. Let me kill them first. So there is a bunch of thrips, and even with that, this leaf looks absolutely beautiful. It is growing well finally. It's sized up so much, look at that. I was really surprised because this is just sitting in a little pot of ceramis in an ignored corner. Here's a head test. So I thought that deserved its moment to shine. I don't think I've ever showed you this since the unboxing when it already looked super sad, so it came back. Bathroom time. In here I want to show you 2 plants, and the first one is this one, because I realized I haven't showed you Rupert in a while, it seems, at least on the favorites videos. If you remember, I got this as a tiny cutting with 1 half moon leaf. It grew a lot for me, but then there were a lot of full yellow leaves, as you see here as well. And they die off pretty quickly, so the stem became bare and I chopped it up. I'm still working on a video about, I can't show you because there's too much growth, but there's lots of growth on the stem now. That will be a separate video at some point with growth updates and everything. So there's a lot of full yellow growth, but then there's also, I don't know if you'll be able to see, a bunch of very cute leaves. There's a little half moon leaf here. Oh, sorry, smacked you in the face. Half moon leaf here, almost perfect. This growth point in the back also looks very happy and healthy. Nice. So I am super happy that it's growing again, that it is getting more leaves on the base of the stem as well, because it was so bare. It looked really ugly. And now every time I look at it, I become very happy because I love Florida Beauty. This was my #1 wishlist plant for so long, like at the top of all my wishlist plants. So I'm very happy still to grow it. I still love it. And I feel lucky to have now this much material to work with, because it can be tricky if you get a cutting that grows like these, then they're likely not going to do very well. So I'm happy to have some that are nicely balanced with the variegation. And it's underneath the grow lights that we put here. Let me show you for a second. We made a hanging grow light here. It's a Vita bulb by Soltec on an IKEA lamp. And then down there we also have a little Vita bulb in a desk lamp to illuminate this beautiful palm tree and the little plants down there. But as you can see, it creates like a flickering effect. So I'm gonna switch that off again for filming. The second plant I want to show you in the bathroom is this one. Can we believe that a Jacqueline came back from death? This was an empty pot, like just ceramis and some, I thought, dead bulbs. But I kept it in here and it's growing again. Jacqueline was, oh, another thrips. We're gonna kill that. Jacqueline was one of my favorite alocasia I had ever seen because it's so Jurassic Park looking with the veins and the shape of the leaf and kind of hairy as well. I had a few really big ones, but they just declined and died. They never grew for me. And these were some of the bulbs that I rescued from that. It's actually growing a second leaf here as well. Very small still. But I am happy that I still own it. I didn't think it would come back. I kind of gave up on growing them. If you grow alocasia, I'm very curious to hear how you're growing yours, especially this Jacqueline, because to me it's a very, very tricky one. Next up, we're gonna check my Hoya shelves because there's a few that I want to show you, but I picked one for this video. Also, you might notice something behind me. It's a little secret still that we worked on the past 2 weeks. We have fully renovated the kitchen, and I am gonna restart the renovation series and show you from where we left off in the beginning of January and work our way to here, but sneak peek. Before I show you the one I actually wanted to, show you some leaves on the ground. Look at this. My Hoya Bella Lidabaus, the outer variegated, has not 1, not 2, not even 3, but 4. Oh, some of the buds fell off. Hoya blooms! There's so many and they're so beautiful. I love Hoya Bella flowers because they stay in that nice star shape. So I am a very proud plant mama. But the one I picked to show you today is this one. You may know this already. This is Hoya latifolia, pot of gold. It used to be known as macrophylla, but then they realized that was the wrong name. This plant was huge for me before, and then during the renovation I moved it to my boyfriend's brother's house and it just fully died. Almost all the leaves died off. I took cuttings. I think all of the cuttings died, and just the base of the plant, which is this one, and one cutting that I took worked. And now it's finally growing leaves again, and they are so beautiful, especially under my grow lights. They're getting a bit sun stressed here, making them pink. And I'm really happy it's back. It's such a beautiful plant, and it was such a sad moment when I realized that the renovation just killed it almost fully. That's why we're celebrating that plant today. Good job, pot of golds. Next up, a plant I haven't showed you in a long time. This is my philodendron Ploumanii, which down here you can see a small new leaf. It is so beautiful. I love the veins and the pattern of it. And then, how am I going to show you this one? This way. Here's another new leaf that's a lot bigger. Look at the dark veins. And as you know, I say this every time I show this plant, I absolutely love the ruffles on the petiole. And it has so many leaves now. I don't even know if you can still hear me all the way back here, but it is growing all over the places. I chopped up this plant, I don't know how long ago. This is actually Pastazanum leaf. So there's Pastazanum and Plaumani together in this pot. The Plaumani is definitely doing better than the Pastazanum. This is my small terrarium, which I hopefully will give a revamp, maybe this week even. I'm thinking of vlogging this week because there's a lot happening. This thing has so much mold and fungus in it. I don't know, fungus or mold. I don't know the difference in English, but it needs cleaning. And one of the things that I struggled with in here, I thought was pests. Let me show you some of the pest damage that we got. Here you go. I thought it was thrips and flat mites. This one especially shows it well. See how it's all almost wooden? I messaged my people from Entocare, who are the ones that send me the good bugs, and they said it actually looks more like damage on a leaf that didn't get enough ventilation, and then it became, in Dutch it's called verkurkt, so the material became kind of woodified or corkified. Is that something? It became like cork, and I figured out that I actually forgot to switch on the fan in my terrarium for a few weeks, and then after a long time I figured out that little tiny motherfucking snails were giving the damage, which you can kind of see as well, like they're walking around on the leaf making little patterns. So I've been catching the snails from the terrarium by hand since I figured it out, and also I switched back on the fan, of course, better circulation, and the leaves now are definitely already showing an increase. I'm still also treating against thrips because, as you saw earlier in this video, they are around, but look at the difference. And then the new leaf, so much less damage, still some holes, some damage. Let me show you another one. By the way, this is Anthurium Carla Blackier crossed with Dressleri. Amazing plant. Of course, they always get the most expensive plants, these little pest motherfuckers. I'm swearing today, I'm sorry. Here's another one that's in here. This is Anthurium Carla Blackier crossed with Dark Phoenix. And here is another one of the older leaves with that damage that I was trying to figure out, and little holes as well, which I thought there's snails, but they didn't do this damage. I thought they just did the hole damage. And then after removing most of the snails and treating, this is what the plant now looks like. I love this is a newer leaf. It still has some of the browning and not that much veins, which I also love. And actually there's less thrips on these plants in the terrarium than on some of the ones in the bathroom, like I showed you before. Or where was it? In the kitchen as well. So I'm very, very happy about this. It's growing well. It's working. So it must have been the snails that caused the damage. If you look really close, you might see all the little dots. That could seem like spider mites, but they are actually feeder mites. If you use the baggies, like I do, these treat against thrips, but also I have them against spider mites. These include predatory mites, which will eat the whatever pest you're treating for, but they also have feeder mites in there. So if you don't have enough pests, the baggies will still last 4 to 6 weeks because of the feeder mites. That will keep the predatory mites happy. And this is not a sponsored video, but I do work with Entocare. If you're in the Netherlands, you can check them out for the baggies. And sometimes the feeder mites, when the humidity is high enough, when the conditions are perfect, they will crawl out onto the leaves. I don't know, I can't focus on it right now. Maybe there. So it looks like bad bugs, but they're actually very harmless little mites. So don't worry if you see that, if you have the baggies. This one is Anthurium Carla Blackier crossed with Dark Phoenix. This is more typical snail damage that you might recognize easier. Just holes in the leaves that grow as the leaf grows. This is a new leaf again. There's a droplet of water on there, so that's not damage, and a little bit of damage here. But look at how much bigger that is, how much better that looks. I might repot some of these soon as well in maybe in the vlog video, I don't know yet, but especially this one, because look Ah, this is one of the Dressleri Carla Blackia hybrids again, and it's staying a lot smaller, I think because it's in such a small pot. So I'm planning to repot this soon, and hopefully the leaves will size up. Oh, look at how beautiful that is. There is not much damage. Actually, there wasn't much damage on this one, just on this leaf. Maybe because it was smaller. The snails were like, we'll eat the bigger leaf first. More to chew on. I don't know. But I really wanted to share this with you, to share some of the knowledge about possibly having snails, especially if you have a terrarium, but also to show you all the beautiful new Carla hybrid leaves that are growing in here. Maybe I should end with Carla herself. This is my pure Carla Blackia. This one, the snails liked the most. So there is so much new growth that browned and died. So much, in fact, that this plant started to grow a new growth point over here, which the snails also ate. And there's another growth point all the way down in the pot. So it really noticed that the new growth point couldn't get through, and then it started to try and grow from lower down the stem to see if that had potential. On this stem, you can again see the good mites. See all the little light dots on the brown there? Harmless, like I said, and I'm very hopeful. I see a tiny little point here. I'm so hopeful that that's finally gonna grow a normal, real Carla leaf, because this one looks horrible. I'm waiting patiently. Not so patiently, but I'm waiting. Upstairs in my small little room, the one room that I still had during the renovation, I'm just looking over because the battery seems to be close to dying. So this begonia, and excuse me, I don't know the actual name of it. Someone told me in my DMs, and DMs are so hard to keep track of and you lose them all the time, so I don't remember who it was. But this begonia was fully dead. It was an empty pot with maybe some brown sticks in there. And it fully came back. Look at how full that is. Look at how beautiful it is. It's got so many leaves. It is flowering down here. I am super impressed. And also this begonia, we're just going to do 2 in 1. Also, I don't know the name of this one. It was struggling a lot. I have it in pumice, like really big chunks, which is not ideal because it dries out way too fast. But it grew again now that I'm watering my plants every week, a little bit more steadily. The leaves are huge. Look at this. For a begonia in normal regular humidity, I love this little pot. It's making me very happy. There's one more inside there that is very dead. Wait, maybe I can show you before the battery dies. Yeah, this is what this one looks like. And the other pot was even worse because it didn't have stems. This is a stem begonia. This is a leaf begonia, or however you say that in English. Dead, so that's gonna go in the bin. But this apparently is tuberous, as they call it, so maybe it has like little bulbs underneath the soil. And it came back in full force, so yay for begonia. They die quickly, but they also come back quickly. Quick Mickey intermission. He was sleeping so adorably in the weirdest position. He really loves this cabinet thingy at the moment. He sleeps there every day. And the last plant I picked for today is Ferry, my amazing variegated Monstera elbow. This is him. If I bring him a little bit closer, will he get out of the frame? Yes. Here is a body test. He reaches up to my throat now, and I am 5'9", so he's probably already taller than Crystal. No hate, Crystal, I love you. I picked him today because he's growing really well. He keeps making new leaves. Some of the new leaves have insane variegation, like these two at the top of the base plant. It has a bunch of secondary fenestrations already. I actually don't know if a small form plant like this is even able to make a 3rd row of fenestrations. Then at the bottom here is the smallest of the 3 plants. It is growing nicely, but it's a little bit small still. This one is almost fully white, but it is close to where we hang our laundry, and I think my boyfriend was a little bit too rough with the laundry against the leaf, so you see some black damage. Here, I don't know how long this leaf is gonna last, so we're celebrating it now, so it's remembered forever. If you joined in on the giveaway of the Monstera in 2 videos previously, I have since announced the winner in the comments and also on a community tab page. So check that out if you hadn't seen it yet. And that's it for this week's video. Let me know in the comments which plant is your favorite of this month, which one has been growing well for you. Do you have any Hoya flowers or other flowers happening? I'm very curious and I love reading your responses. Thank you so much for being here. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe below if you haven't already, and you can join my Patreon or YouTube membership for a little bit more content. Maybe I'll see you at the market at the end of this week on Saturday. My Botanica is happening in Houten, so if you are in the Netherlands, check that out. I will link it in the description. I will link it in the description. And maybe I'll see you there. If you see me, please do say hi. I love that. And otherwise, I'll see you in next week's video. Bye!